Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived First Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com.
People are interested.
But you know what? If you send me an email, you'll get a response, and it will be from me.
And I really don't have any desire to.
You haven't watched the trailer at all?
No.
A lot of people haven't heard of the couch division, so
It's a comfy division to be in, though.
it's super comfy. It's almost too comfy at times.
Your response to teams who see that as a new potential issue with districts?
Yeah, that's really a two-pronged question.
Let's see if there's any damage from that fall. There was. They snapped 330. Still on their back. 6 seconds to go.
Or was the highest ranked. But then as votes continue to pour in, everything kind of changed around a little bit. So we forget about that.
First Updates Now is brought to you by Twitch. Fun is now a Twitch partner and offering some awesome subscriber-only benefits. Subscribe today or get a free subscription each month when you have Amazon Prime by linking your account and clicking subscribe. Coming up on First Updates Now recap, week 1 is finally here. We'll take a look at some of the top events for the week to come and break down what you should be looking for and what teams are going to be in the playoffs. We also have 125 the Neutrons here to help break down their event and give the inside scoop to their incredible robot. Reporting for First Updates Now, I'm Tyler Olds.
And I'm Mike Stark.
And I'm Justin Montoys. And let's introduce our guests for tonight. Back again this time for some awesome insights is Christina Tia, and joining her tonight is a lead mechanical student for 125, Oliver McNeely. Oliver, welcome to the show. You guys getting super excited for the South Florida Regional?
Yeah.
That was very unilateral there. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, good job.
It's dope.
Christine, I got to mention, no drawing today, but we do have some wordplay all day. You guys are going to weigh something really fresh and cool this week, or dope this week, as the kids say, right? So why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're giving away this week?
Yeah, so I'm not physically drawing something right now, but if you enter tonight's raffle, you can win a custom Snapchat filter for your team, or for your event, or for somebody. Maybe you want to ask somebody to prom with a Snapchat filter, but the chance can be yours tonight. So that's the drawing of the night.
Very, very cool. And don't forget to be entered to win this awesome giveaway. You have to either follow or subscribe us. So if you don't mind, just click that little button up on top of the page, give us a follow, and become part of the ranks of Fun Nation. If you really want to get involved, subscribe to us, and you get a 5 times drawing or five drawings to actually win this awesome giveaway. You can actually subscribe for free each month using Amazon Prime through Twitch Prime. You do have to resub each month in order to do that. Or you can join in the long haul for only a few bucks a month. Subs also get sweet benefits, including our subscriber day, which will be taking place next Monday each month. We're going to be gaming with some of our subs, doing some awesome giveaways, and really thanking our subscribers for making this happen. Thank you, subscribers.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, this has really blown up, through Premier Nights over the past couple of days, a couple of weeks. So thank you to all our subscribers who have really taken the time and money to be a part of our show. So before we get into the depth of the 125 robot, we want to take some time to generate questions that you might have for us, for Christine and Oliver, or 125. So I want you to tag at First Updates Now with your question and have it answered by the Neutrons. Also starting next, we will recap previous week's events. But since this is week one, we'll go right into our event previews. We have a little bit more time, so we chose 9 out of the 21 events that are going on this weekend to preview today. So Tyler, why don't you start us off? And I think you're up with in the New England district with the Granite State district event.
Yeah, so the New England districts kick off this year with 2 events in there, including one in Granite State and one at Waterbury. Both events look to be very competitive, but let's dig a bit deeper into the Granite State event. And we really want to look at this event because we saw some of these teams participate at the Week 0 event in Nashua. So Christine and Oliver, I'm sure, would be looking for some input from both of you as well, because I'm sure you saw some of these robots. But if we look at some of these teams here, this includes 78 Airstrike, who had an opportunity. Started out strong last year. They had a district finalist appearance, but kind of tapered off the rest of the year. So we'll see if they can kind of revamp that a bit. At Nashua, we saw that they had a quick gear scoring mechanism, and we'll see if they keep fine-tuning that along with a shooter from Nashua into this event. Also looking to take it over the top is 238, the Crusaders, who had 1 district win, 2 finalist awards, and were the district champ finalists in 2016. They also have a nice gear scoring mechanism, trying to get that gear auto working. So we'll see if that pans out for them as well. To me, the team that we have to really look at the most promise with in this event, or at least to me that I saw from the Week 0 event, was actually 319 Big Bad Bob. With an over-the-bumper intake, fast shooting rate, really 319, if they can get their intake, when they were bringing it in at the Week 0 event, we saw something kind of popping out of their robot. If they can get that under control and start to get their shooting down well, they were really, from the robot that is attending this event, they're the one that really stood out to me. Of course, the Neutrons were at the event, and their shooter was flying in all cylinders, but 319 for attending Granite State really seemed to pop up, and I really am looking to them to get that shooter accuracy down. 2 district wins last year, and looking to add more blue banners in 2017. Some other notables to keep an eye out for are 1058, the PVC Pirates, 1512, the Big Red, and looking to have a big rebound year is 3467, Wyndham Windup. So, Mike, let's move on to Hatboro Horsham.
Let's bagel, H&H. That's from Seinfeld, if you don't know. Johnson, we always used to say that about our show. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's probably Seinfeld.
It's probably Seinfeld.
So let's bagel. Every year, there's always an event or two in Mar above the rest that kind of pique our interest. So starting it off this year is H&H, or Hatboro Horsham. To those who are new at recap and that first top 25 of the 2017 H&H event, we'll see the likes of 103, 341, 708, 1218, 2590, amongst others. Taking the number 1 seed at this event last year was Radar Robotics, Team 25, who will not be returning, but their first overall pick and eventual 2016 Mar District champions, 341, Miss Daisy, they will be back. Miss Daisy did release a reveal video already, and from the looks of it, I would say be in the top echelon just based on reveal videos, based on how robots look in reveal videos. So we'll see if that relates to the field or not. As a couple of years ago, at least from the outside, it looked like, with Jared moving on, that the team's success and progression was in the balance there for a while, but these past couple of years have really kind of gotten back to where they were a few years ago. So that's really exciting to see. 708 will be in attendance, who took the District Chairman's Award home at this event last year, though never getting out of the semifinals in any of the Mar events. But they were the Newton subdivision finalists. 1218 Vulcan Robotics, which is a personal favorite of mine. They use Flyers hockey sticks on the robots a lot. will be looking to defend their title belt, taking this event last year with their first overall pick, 2590, who was always brought up when kind of talking about the good teams in MAR. So MAR might not be the flashiest district out there in the likes of, the Pacific Northwest and the New England and First and Michigan, but it's always there. It's always good to keep your eye on it. So as we've seen with Michigan, the increase of level of robots and competitiveness amongst teams in MAR the past couple of years has really kind of been special to watch as it's been growing and growing, and teams are really building each other up in that program there. So I look forward to seeing what MAR does throughout this season. Looking forward to following their progression. And Justin, speaking of that, who do we have up next? Oh, you muted.
Oh, mute curse. 2 shows in a row.
That's because you told him to mute himself when he
Exactly. Every time I clear my throat, I get
that. That needs to be an emote. Is like when somebody gets muted, that we can just kind of draw them, totally make fun of them in chat. Go ahead, Justin.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yes.
So jumping back out of the district for a little bit to regional play, the Myrtle Beach Convention Center will play host to 62 teams from up and down the East Coast, as well as 359 the Hawaiian Kids and 3008 Team Magma coming all the way from Hawaii to compete. So that's pretty cool. Other headliners of the event include defending world champs 120 Cleveland's team, 11 more 2614 Mars, 3824 HUVA Hawktex, 4451 Robots Garage, and quite honestly, a few others. Several of the teams competing at Palmetto this week have been in the top 25 the past few years. So it's going to be a great event to watch. Last year's winners, 1369, 179, and 4451, have 2 out of the 3 returning to defend their crown, with 179 sitting out this time around. Both 2614, who picked up the Regional Chairman's Award, and 4451, who picked up the Engineering Inspiration Award, both returned looking to pick up another prestigious award and punch their ticket to the championship very early in week 1.
All right, let's move on to the Northern Lights Regional. Northern Lights Regional and its twin across the right around the arena, the Lake Superior Regional, make up the double-decker event. While Lake Superior does have a couple notables, and I really got to point out the 2052 Nightcrawler, I really think most eyes of this double regional event are going to be over on the Northern Lights side, featuring what could be the most competitive event in Minnesota robotics history. Michigan State champs and, of course, Hall of Famers Team 27 Rush are back again in Minnesota, and you're always going to see a strong presence from them. 525 Schwart Dogs had 2 regional wins and a semifinal division appearance, and are currently on a 4 blue banner streak so far from a regional perspective. So they're just rolling that track. I couldn't believe their robot last year with the 3 wheels and how successful that was. That was a great robot. 876 Thunder Robotics were division finalists last year and won a regional with the world champions 2481. I should also say the Premier Night champions, right? That's more important. 2175 took home a blue banner and will look to build along with 2202 Beast Robotics from Wisconsin, both those teams with 1 blue banner last year. Defending Northern Lights champs and division finalists 2502 Talon Robotics will have a tough challenge to keep their title, but have also seen vast improvements over the last couple of years. 2512 Duluth East Daredevils, a little bit of a lower year. I mean, they didn't have any blue banners, but a couple semifinalist appearances, especially after their 2015 world finalist performance a couple of years ago, but still holding strong and looking to come back strong as well. One of the strongest teams to come out of Minnesota over the last couple of years is 3130 the Airs. 3130 might not have had a deep run at champs going on the semis, but they were the first pick of the number 4 Alliance and have had consistent blue banners over the last couple of years. And lastly, I really got to mention, I don't think you can mention this anymore, with the amazing, outstanding robot of 5172, who had a lights out season last year, and in my opinion, had a top 15 robot in all of 2016. Pairing up with 67 and 1477 at champs, last year they had a ridiculously tough Newton division, absolutely crazy Newton division, and it shifted many eyeballs in their direction. I know, talking from some of the top teams that were in Newton division last year, 5172, everybody knew about them, and that's a crazy thing coming in as a third-year team last year, that all those eyeballs were on you. And we'll see if 5172 can build upon a fantastic season moving into 2017. Some other notable teams are 2883 Fred, 3026 Orange Crush, 4607 CIS, and 4786 Nicolay Fear, all of whom have a great opportunity to pair up. this could really be the event that I see that being the number 1 seed could be one of those times where it's a deep field, but I could really see that strong value pick coming back to that number 3 and number 4 alliance on the way around. And the way it's looking like the top 4 alliances could all be extremely top tier teams just coming back around at Northern Lights. So, wow, like I said, probably in my opinion, in all the events that I've done in Minnesota, this looks to be the most competitive event in Minnesota robotics history.
Wow, buddy. That was great. All right, kind of moving on to South Florida here. Not going to go too in depth as we're going to talk a little bit more about it later in the show, but to start things off, South Florida this weekend is going to have 1 team from the Netherlands, 1 team from Brazil, 1 team from Colombia, 6 teams from Turkey, and others from Florida, obviously, but also Washington, D.C., Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Virginia, New York. It's going to be an awesome weekend. So, but that being said, like, I kind of wonder what the culture and like the atmosphere is going to be like at this, at the regional this weekend. Just having that many different cultures there, different languages there. Like, I'm really kind of curious, and I'd love to check back with Christine and Oliver a week from today to kind of see how that goes. But that's going to be really cool to kind of like have such an international feel to this regional. So we'll see lots of great teams this weekend. 79 Crunch, 125 the Neutrons, 179 Children of the Swamp, 233 the Pink Team, 694 Sty Pulse like High Pulse, 1523 Mars, 4592 the Mighty Mechanical Mustangs, and a little bit of rookies as well. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into this because we're going to talk more about it later. But with the seasons that 233 had last year, 2 regional wins, a region chairman's award, 125 who had a regional win, a district chairman's award, district championship, 179 who had a regional win last year amongst so many other team successes that are there. This is going to be an incredible regional to watch. So the regional chairman's award went to a MAR team last year, and the 2016 EI winner will not be in attendance. So those 2 awards are wide open. It's just going to be, like I just said, it's going to be awesome. 125 with this review video we already watched. That team plus these other teams that we mentioned, it's going to be really great. So, Oliver, heading into this regional this weekend, all the way down in Florida, I hope you're ready for the sunshine. 2, like, what are your thoughts on it? What are going into it? Like, how pumped are you? Are you nervous? Like, do you guys feel like you're in a good spot? Just give us your little rundown.
Yeah, so I'm definitely very nervous. This will be our first time, aside from week 0, competing with other teams. And I think we've definitely made some improvements that I hope we'll be able to showcase at the competition. I'm also looking forward to a lot of seeing our competition, what they've done as well. Definitely looking at 179, 233. We'd love to see how other teams have tackled the same challenges that we have. We know that, like, certain parts of our robot are similar to others as well. And we sort of want to see if they've taken different paths to get to that design. It'd be definitely really interesting to talk to them. I'm definitely looking forward to the change in weather.
For sure.
But Florida is amazing, so I can't wait.
We talk about that every year, right? These teams are producing these review videos or whatever it has, and they're freaking outside, like playing the game, and we're just like looking out. There's like snow that we need to shovel, and it's just been, so change why they're great. But
hey, Mike,
cool. I mean, you guys could have picked maybe like a better regional go-to to. Thanks, Nick, for the weather update.
Yeah, Nick says it's 75 and sunny.
Oh, can't wait.
So that's great. So we're really excited for you guys to go down there and check it out for sure.
Hey, Mike, and I just want to kind of ask everybody we've all been at events that have had a lot of different cultures, but this is pretty crazy, right? For all the different, all the different teams. You know, the one thing I'll say, and like, I almost feel bad saying that, but man, like when international teams come in, at least in my experiences, the level of intensity with the audience and stuff is just like elevated to an extra level.
Their energy is unmatched.
Yeah.
Like we were up in, I don't know which event it was, Justin, but the Mexican teams were up there, and they were like just bringing the house down with like it. But what I'm really curious about, no, they didn't. I'm really curious about this is it's a much more like concentrated culture experience here. Like when you're at championship, you have maybe one team from Israel or a couple teams from Israel, one from like Mexico, one from, here, like, but here it just feels like it's such a big percentage of the teams that are there that are international teams. So I think you're going to have that much more of an experience than you would at like championship in your subdivision because it's just much more concentrated,
Yeah.
So very cool. So Justin, what's up with Fim, man?
You didn't say it right, bud.
Fim.
That's better.
I'd ask Justin to say it, but he'd probably pass out at this point.
I know.
Might be good TV though. No.
There we go.
There you go.
So as
Who's
things get
officially
going,
bottomed out.
yeah, we got no one. As things get going in other parts of the country, Michigan will also get going with some perennial powerhouses hitting the field in Southfield. Wow, when I wrote that, it didn't sound as strange. 33 and 67 will get a lot of attention, but there's other strong teams here as well, such as 247, the Bears, 548, the Robostangs, among others. Last year's winners, 35-48, 11-88, and 36-04, only have 11-88, the Robo Ravens, returning to defend their title, meaning Southfield will be claiming at least two, or crowning at least two new champions this year. Last season, the Chairman's Award went to 1025, who is back, hoping to claim a second District Chairman's Award. However, the race is going to be very tight with several other District Chairman's Awards also in attendance. Tower, what's going on with Tippecanoe?
All right, before just say it, Justin, get it off your chest. Tippecanoe.
And Tyler too.
All right, I knew.
Thanks.
See, last year he brought it up, and I had no clue what the hell he was talking about. It's like, it's the song. Everybody knows it. I'm like, I don't know this. All right, the who's who of Indiana robotics, along with just a sprinkle of Michigan, kicks off the Indiana district season with Tippecanoe. In a district event with only 38 teams, the field is quite deep. 45 Technocats had 2 district wins and were Alliance captains at Champs last year, snapping a winter drought since 2012. So getting some blue banners in on their end. Cyber Blue, I got to point them out. A lot of good buddies on that team. A little bit of a hiccup last year amongst their robot. They're used to some pretty high levels of play. They're going to be looking for a great warm-up event here, though. I know it counts towards district points, but they're also playing in a regional later on, and they have another district event as well, too. So a lot of opportunity for Cyber Blue to get it going. 829, the Digital Goats, were held out of the World Championships last year, and I know from talking to them, they're looking to get back and come back strong. The next 3 teams we have coming as probably the favorites of the event. When you look at these 3 and the performance they had last year, to me, it's really no doubt that they come in as favorites. Now, it's different every year, but it seems to have been pretty consistent. 868 Tech Hounds had 4 blue banners last year with 2 wins and a district and state chairman's award. 1024 the Kilobytes had a clean sweep of Indiana with 3 district wins and also winning state. They also added a division finalist award at championships as well. 1501 Thrusts got close, but didn't secure a win during district play, but they came back in a huge way at the championships with a division win and their Einstein appearance. So with many great teams to look out for here, we also got to make a note of a couple others. 1529 Cybercard, say Danny. 3940 Cybertooth, hey, everybody at any mark. And 5188 Classified Robotics are really looking to make a strong impact here, especially coming in from last year. A couple of these teams, one has success, the other 2 looking for a little bit more. And we may even be switching our coverage to Game Day Live. I didn't even realize this was a Sunday event originally. So we'll talk about this a little bit more, but we might be switching our coverage over to this event just with how many ridiculously good teams are at Indiana.
Flexed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a flex play. It depends on the cameras, though. I mean, real quick aside, with first coming out with that announcement about changing cameras, it will be interesting to see how these events adapt to that, because we know those airships are really in the way. And for us on Game Day Live, I mean, we want to be able to show something the audience can see, especially people on Twitch who don't know what this is. So we're actually, a lot of these events that we kind of had originally scheduled, we're going to be taking a second look at, because we want to make sure we're going to get good camera angles at the events that we're at. So aside over, Mike, let's take us into PNW.
Pinu.
All right, it's our first of the season. And with that, let's take a look at what's going on at the Auburn District event in the Pacific Northwest this weekend. So we'll see teams like 948 Energy, 2046 Bare Metal, 2555 Robo Rams, 3663 CPR, and some rookies in there and some other teams I didn't mention, of course. At this event last year, there were the only team on the winning alliance that is coming back will be 3786 the Chargers, who were the last pick of the draft in the Auburn event. And they were the last pick of the draft in the Auburn Mountain View event as well. And they won both of those. They also got the district engineering inspiration in at the 2016 Auburn event as well. So if you remember back to premiere night, we saw 948 Energy. There was a small bot with aluminum sheets, what am I looking for? All the way around. But at the end of the video, we did see that they were working on a shooter in addition to their gear score and their climber as well. So 2046 Bare Metal is coming off a 3-medal season, a district win, a district engineering inspiration, and a district finalist, and are looking to improve on that this year. District Chairman's Award winners of last year, 2980. That would be Island Wildcats, will not be in attendance this year. But as mentioned, Bare Metal took the DEI at this event last year and are looking to be able to take home blue this year. Bare Blue Medal. Anyways.
Alliteration.
You like that? Bare Blue Medal. And then, yeah, anyways. All right, Justin, Hub City.
So check this one out. So you thought you had a pretty diverse event. I'm going to see if I have one. So now I'm even subconscious about, I'm muted.
I know, every time.
So I might have one that can be with you.
All right.
So the Panhandle South Plains Fairgrounds will play host to 46 teams this weekend in Lubbock, Texas. Teams from California, Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, Missouri, Oklahoma, Illinois, of course, Texas, and internationally from Mexico and Turkey are at this event.
Wow.
So all over the place, heading to middle of nowhere, Texas. Headlining this event are Texas favorites, obviously 118, 624, and 1477. However, some non-Texas teams like defending world champs 2481, who won the Best in Show for their robot release video during premiere night, Roboteers will also look to make a strong impact as well. Last year when the dust settled, it was 3310, 4063, and 4301 who took home the blue banners, yet only 2 of the 3 defending champions are returning without the Alliance captain 3310, so other teams, there's certainly room to make some history of their own. Last year, the Chairman's Award went to 1860, who is not returning from Brazil, so the Chairman's race may be a little bit wide open as well. With all these great teams, Hub City will get a lot of views on their webcast Saturday afternoon. We'll have to see how this game is played early at a pretty high level, especially if you see 118 and 2481 team up. You know, we don't like to make predictions often, but they alone could really change the perception about how early scoring is in Steamworks and what's realistic in the early weeks.
That's for sure.
Yeah, there's a really, really deep field there, and we'll that one we're doing for sure. So we're going to be covering Hub City for sure on Game Day Live, starting at coverage. I believe will start at 2:15 Eastern. It's all dependent on how the event runs. But yeah, make sure you check that out. Fantastic event. It's going to be a lot of fun to check out. So hey, Oliver, thanks for being so patient, man. I know when we do these run-throughs, you just kind of got to twiddle your thumbs there for a little bit, but we appreciate it. We want to get into this amazing robot you guys have this year. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. The reveal video you guys put out that we showed at the beginning of the show, wow, right? I mean, I have that face like that one student did in your video when you were in the portrait mode. He's like, whoa, bro, you know, like that. And that's the same reaction. He encompassed it for everybody. So take us through the concepting phase, the development. How did you guys think about doing this robot? Where did these mechanisms come from? Take us in the beginning on kickoff day, where you went from there.
Yep. So on kickoff, and definitely at the beginning of the process, we really wanted to emphasize throughput of the feeder and also the shooter as well. So when we started to design, I specifically worked on the feeder. When we started to design it, we wanted to look to other models and other just machines in general for inspiration about how to make something that can work so quickly and yet also still be accurate without causing gens all the time. So what we looked at probably the most and the first was paintball hoppers. So paintball guns obviously shoot at a very high rate. They shoot quite accurately, depending on the paintball gun. And they're able to get a lot of balls out of the canister very quickly. So in specific, we looked at the die rotor hopper, which had a very similar design to some of our early prototypes. And we looked at their CAD models, we looked at some of the patents as well, and we tried to base our prototypes off that just to see why they made the choices that they did and if we could improve upon or do something similar. So one of our first prototypes actually I have right here. So we made a type of like hooked shaped piece that was just very rudimentary at the start, but slowly we were able to fit it into these other prototype parts that were interchangeable. And as we started to test it, we came up with different issues. Sometimes balls would jam, other times we didn't have enough capacity. So we started to work on different ideas that would then push the design forward. Almost every night we were 3D printing new models. The day after we would have a meeting, we would test out the new models. We would then CAD later into the night and then print a new model for the next meeting. And this like quick iteration really helped us to push forward the design and get something pretty good working by the time that week 0 came around.
That is a mesmerizing prototype there.
Yeah.
3D printed. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did a new prototype a day for like 2 weeks. So we
Yeah.
were printing a new version of that every single night. Like Oliver, Brando, and then Henry, the guy that was cheesing out in that video. He's a mentor. They would be up until 10:30 every night, and then we'd hop over to Sonos, stick it in the printer, take it out the next day, and then fix all the problems the next day. So
Yeah.
Sonos has a 3D printer.
Yeah.
they've got a few.
That's awesome. I was just like, what do they do? Their prototyping through that way or what?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
well, that's Brando later.
Yes.
Excuse me. So Oliver, we previously mentioned that you were like the mechanical lead for the Neutrons. So what does the mechanical lead mean to you? How did you kind of lead your sub team while keeping track of maybe all the other sub teams that were going on as well?
Yeah, so I was the mechanical lead of the feeder team, and there were actually a few other leads as well.
Okay.
I think being the only student in charge of everything would be too much for anybody. But actually, luckily, there was a few kids actually in my year who we were all leads at the same time this year. And initially, we sort of worked together just to concept out design, thinking about spacing on the final robot, and then also how the different pieces would work together. But after that initial phase, we split a bit apart into our individual subgroups. As the head of the feeder subgroup, we specifically worked on just making the feeder. We did a bit of work with the shooter team just for integration purposes, but we primarily worked separate until last week or so, when we've been working together in CAD and in fabrication to put everything together.
That's awesome.
So one of the things that, I think a lot of teams maybe have struggled with, and, even my team, for example, we spent a lot of time focused on singulation, like you guys obviously did as well. But we all know there's more to it. And from intake to hopper to shooter to scoring, your robot really has put it all together. So can you talk a little bit more about the process of, so you have this, really nice singulator, and how you started to adapt the shooter and the fuel intake and the hopper, all those things together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what we started to do, especially about midway through our build season, is looked at the feeder as probably one of the most, if not the central component of our robot. Because what our sort of philosophy was that we're focused a lot on shooting, and in order to have a very effective shooter, especially in this game, and especially during teleop, we need to have very high throughput. And what we realized is that the shooter isn't necessarily what controls the throughput. In reality, it's actually the feeder. You can intake a bunch of balls, but it's the feeder that allows those balls to be shot at 15, 18, 20 balls per second. So what we did is...
Which one is it, by the way?
So at week 0, actually, we were able to get about 18 balls a second.
That's incredible.
Oh.
Yeah. We're thinking we might even be able to go a little bit faster, but we don't really know about that yet.
I hope you don't have any alliance partners, because that boiler's not going to be able to process all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so we built the robot sort of really around the feeder. So we had made sure that the intake could just intake balls, as you see in our robot. The sort of holder or hopper for the whole robot is the robot itself. The robot is our sort of container. And so the intake can just intake balls into the robot, and then the feeder is sort of very situated centrally in the robot, so that it can then just take balls and shoot them right up into the shooter, which can then shoot them out as quickly as we can feed them.
That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. So we were told that you guys were actually planning on flying your robot down to Florida this week, but you have a very kind of unconventional method to do so. So what are you guys planning on doing?
Yeah, so surprisingly, our robot is quite modular. So we've been able to basically take apart, actually I have here, just for like prop purposes, I have the feeder itself. Wow. So one of the things that we really focused on was modularity. So the feeder, when we connect it to the robot, it's literally 3 bolts in the bottom that hold it down to the root, which is in the drivetrain of the robot. And then the shooter, similarly, it just sits on a box beam on top. And then the intake is a bit more complicated to take on and take off. But we've been able to basically disassemble it so that we have the drivetrain and the intake, and then we have the feeder and shooter separately. so that we can move it or fly it down if we have to.
So there it is. It's in a road case right now.
Yeah.
in the bag.
Yeah, I think the fact that we could fit our robot last year in 2 Pelican cases, and that was the one checked bag for one of our students, was a high that we couldn't get off of.
Yeah.
Do not lose this checked bag, whatever you do. And there you go. Nick just put it up.
It definitely made traveling a lot easier, especially when we went to Flagstaff last year, to be able to literally bring it on the plane, bring it right off the plane and into the venue, was pretty great. Here it's not
awesome.
as tiny as last year's tiny robot, but we are packing it on the plane with us, and I think part of it might be going into a Pelican case, so we're glad that we actually physically bring it in there.
I just want to, Christine, can you read off this note that was written, by the way?
Basically telling the TSA, we know this looks really suspicious, but we promise it's not, take a closer look if you need to, but please be really gentle. We thought long and hard about the verbiage of the note that was going to be sitting on top of the robot, because I'm sure through an X-ray machine they look pretty ridiculous, but
I'm sure
we've read through and combed through the fine-tooth comb on all the rules for bringing these things on the plane, and it's definitely a dice roll, but we'll do whatever it takes to get down there.
Until you
set
get
the standard for like international travel now.
Yeah, I mean, doing all this, I have so much respect for all these international teams that have to coordinate, getting their batteries there, getting their spare parts, their students, and all that. Like, I can't even imagine.
Well, I'm trying to remember when we had the Rembrandts on for premiere night. I don't know, Mike or Justin, do you remember like how early they had the?
I'm distracted by Nick's preview video. Okay,
no,
go
that's
ahead.
all right. Do you guys remember when the Rembrandts were on from the Netherlands? How early they had to ship their robot? I don't remember what they said, but I think it was at least a week or two early.
Yeah, something like
it
that.
was.
Yeah, to get it over in time.
Yeah.
Nick, can you just play that so we can all mesmerize at the?
Yeah.
Nick's gonna transfer it over.
This was kind of the popcorn mode.
Oh, look at it go!
Yeah. Victor in the background, so excited.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that spent a lot of hours looking at paintball hoppers.
Really
I
cool.
know, right?
I love it.
I didn't even think about that through this whole thing. That's cool.
Yeah, so what point was that, Oliver? Like when we got to that point of, okay, we're adding the clear sides on and we're actually popcorning the golf balls.
Yeah, so that was pretty early on in the process. We realized that we had to have some way to hold the balls above the robot because we were just going to have them passively basically fall in. So we had to have this plastic piece around it, just make sure that the balls were centrally around the feeder. And what we also realized, especially in that one, you can see it sort of jitters. And some of that jittering is because we had to deal with jams, which even at this point, we occasionally can't even get jams. And we realized that it's a part of a feeder that you really can't eliminate. It's one of those problems that you can make really difficult to occur, but you really can't take away completely. And what we've also done is we've made sure that if a jam occurs, it can easily be resolved by the robot. Ideally, just by continually spinning the feeder, we'll be able to eliminate any jams that do occur. But the sort of plastic piece around really made sure that we could have balls just fall in passively instead of actually having to design something to introduce balls to the feeder.
Oh, I can't wait to check this robot out in person.
Yeah, that's gonna be so exciting.
I'm pumped. He's ready to talk to the judges. So.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, this is a good test here, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You're doing a
hey,
great job.
Yeah, right. Hey, audience, we know you guys had a bunch of questions for us, so we don't want to take too long on our end. We want to make sure we get to your audience questions. So I'm just going to kind of read these off as we go through, and Oliver, I'll let you kind of answer these as we go through and try to make sure they're not repeating. But we had Ward Benjamin asked, did the Neutrons add walls onto your hopper for your tank?
Yeah, yes, we did. We actually had them somewhat fabricated when we shot the reveal video, but we can assure you that we do have walls, and they will be on by Florida.
They're packed in the case.
Yes,
they're ready to
Or you're
go.
bringing them at least.
Yeah.
Justin, you want to take the next question?
Sure. Can I pick from this
rotate.
list, or just want to go in order?
No, just pick from it. I'll mark it off.
I do like the next question though. So Parker1719 says, so what other types of agitators and kind of singulation designs did you look at aside from obviously the very successful one that you ended up going with?
So actually, before we even got to, I guess, the successful one, we were looking at paddles basically as agitators. So actually, here's sort of a model of it. we have these paddles, or we had these paddles on the side that would rotate counterclockwise or counter to the rotation of the hook, so that when the hook came into contact with the ball, the agitator would push the ball into the hook. But we actually realized that that was one of the main causes of our jams. And because that, we wanted to eliminate any causes we could. So we sort of took a step back and we realized that the paddles aren't really necessary, and that there's ways that we can achieve the same result without actually using paddles, which can then create jams. So we then sort of transitioned away from paddles into the rollers that you see today. And actually on the way there, it might be hard to see here, but we had gear teeth around the outside of our.
Can you lift it up just a little bit?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, sorry, we don't have full screen prepped. I apologize.
Yeah. And we have a pulley on here that will actually, when you move it around, the pulley spins on the gear teeth, which moves a roller, which intakes balls into the feeder itself. And that was sort of like a transition between the paddles and the active rollers that we have now. So then after that, we moved to these Coulson wheels. That provide us with sort of like the least jamming alternative to actual paddles. And that's sort of how we got there, yeah.
So I'm going to pretend this question was in the chat, but so if you're constantly spinning the feeder all match, how do you make it so they do not shoot then? Obviously you can turn the shooter off, but do you turn off is there like a wheel that then delivers them from that tube up to the shooter that you turn off as well?
Yeah, actually, I think I might have misspoken. We only keep the feeder on when the shooter's running, and we actually make sure that the shooter runs first, because if you have balls coming up before the shooter reaches full speed, they definitely won't go the desired distance.
Right.
So we only have and it's
especially when you're shooting 16 a second or whatever you say.
Yeah. And it's sort of like an on-off thing. If the feeder's running, balls are coming up no matter what. So at that point, we can't really control them. So they both run at the same time.
Cool. So I will take a chat question. So from Apache 8080, he asked, is 125 using a similar Android vision system that 254 used last year?
Yes. As far as I know, we're using some of that same technology. And I haven't been really working with the programmers.
Spoken like a true mechanical person there. Like, I don't know what they do. They do something.
Exactly. That's other stuff. But yeah, as far as I know, we're using a similar method.
Yeah, I know that the programming team has been working nonstop since even the beginning of last year, working on vision tracking. We've gone through Grip. I think we dabbled in PixieCam this year. And then now we've kind of settled with the 254 method of doing it with a Nexus 5. And it's been great. Our lead programmer, Lydia, has just been running with it and having a blast. So we're excited to see that really implemented on the field and see what it can do with our robot.
All right. Next question from Kish are the Neutrons using slip rings to actuate their shin take?
Yes. So that was actually one of the...
First off, what's a shin take? Let's explain that first.
Shooter intake. Yeah. Shooter intake. So the shin take is the shooter intake. So like imagine it's like one whole piece. And yeah, the slip ring was like a really important part of the design process for us. And what we realized is that in order to have the motors that we have right now, it's like on our current model, we have a 775 here that powers the motor. You need to get electricity up to there. And the only way to do that, if the feeder is rotating at full speed, is to use a slip ring, which enables us to have like statically moving electronics coming in to rotating electronics on the feeder on top. And that was like a really important piece when we decided to go towards motors and like the active wheels. So yeah.
No mercury though, don't worry.
Yeah.
Cool. Next question.
Do you want me to ask that question, Justin?
I think you should just broach the idea. It's a great idea.
So it was Caltrans kind of basis for the question. So his word for word question was, any chance 125 will give away 3D printed parts this way postseason? My adaptive question to that is, would you guys make an automated version of your little ping pong one that it just keeps going up? It's like a new water fountain, right? You can just plug it in
Like
and
one
they
of those
just come
snow
in.
globes or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? You know how much money that thing would bring in? That it could just sit on somebody's
Just one of those
desk.
felt
It just
suits.
runs
Wait.
continuously all day.
We
Just
will
little-
sell it for you if you create it, by the way.
Maybe
Just
we'll-
saying.
I mean, you could probably make a bunch of them and sell them because I'm sure a lot of people would buy them. So,
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be our.
and that's
new-
yeah, Nick. That's what I was thinking too. The IRI auction
yeah, IRA
specifically.
auction would be rad.
But you need to make more than one because you guys could really make some like serious like fundraising money off those things.
No kidding. That's awesome. But
Thanks.
now that thought and idea is First Updates Now property, so any that you sell.
Yes, we get a commission off everyone that's
Yeah.
Creative Commons licensing.
made.
Quick.
But seriously, we would buy one, so you should maybe make that a postseason project.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Justin, want to take the next one?
So was there any collaboration between you and any other teams, either in your area or anywhere else, on the paintball hopper concept?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know that we worked, especially I think Brando was in contact with some other team captains, and especially during the early parts of the design process when we were working on different 3D printed models, and also when we were doing a lot of prototyping. I know we worked with several other teams. I'm not quite sure what their numbers were, but
And I don't think either of them have revealed their robot yet,
That
but there
too, yeah.
were two teams this year that, like Oliver was saying, were in close collaboration with the Peter. Last year, I'm sure some of you saw, we had a very similar robot to another team, and we actually got to play a match with them. So we're really looking forward to seeing what their robots look like. We haven't seen them yet, and hopefully, I'm sure they're definitely not identical. Like we definitely went down different paths when, like Oliver was saying, we hit kind of like a roadblock. So it'll be really interesting to see what those robots look like. I'm excited for it.
yeah.
Very cool. I love like the collaboration, but like you still go your own ways. That's kind of cool when teams do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. I don't know what this. What is Yaniv? I don't get that.
It's Oliver's best friend.
Don't listen to any of his questions.
All right. So is Yaniv a top tier memer?
Yes.
You got to explain what is the inside joke to this. Tell us all.
So Yaniv's another one of the mechanical leads. He actually designed and made or helped to design and make the intake. And we've definitely become pretty good friends over the build season. And actually with one of our mentors, Henry Sick, we were known as the meme team.
The meme team.
Yaniv
The meme team.
forward. He was the tier memer, but I was in there somewhere.
Wow. I don't know if anybody's going to know the answer. I'm just going to ask this because I have absolutely no clue what the answer is. So if any of you guys know, that's great. But Zach asked in chat, this is way off topic, but I thought about a question yesterday. So on Candidly Speaking, so maybe some of you guys can jump in. Do you feel that FRC went in an app development phases with 1992 through 2000 was alpha from 2001 through 2015, and in beta from 2016 through now with the full release of FRC? I thought about this based off the games that have kept on improving, and now these new games are having awesome themes. I don't know if anybody can decipher that or answer that, but if anybody wants to take a shot, go ahead. I'm asking it, so all right.
No, I mean, it's
I
a
can
cool.
read the
No,
question
it's a
again.
cool question because I think it's. I mean, I see how that is. It makes sense in that line of thought, but I think you could apply that same concept to the natural development of any program or organization, right? Just FRC is getting better and better. I don't know why he specifically stopped at maybe those specific years. It'd be interesting to look a little bit more into that. But I agree with him. I think that even not everyone loves the crazy themes and how, some might say over themed the games are. I think the past few games we've had are some of the best we've had. I'm really excited to play this game, and I think it's a cool question.
Nice.
Find those
Go ahead.
kick shots that aren't blocking half the match too. After seeing the week 0 footage, like you could never see our robot when we were shooting. It was just like a stream of balls. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping they can figure out how to navigate that. But the field this year is absolutely amazing when you see it in person. I saw it for the first time at week 0, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like last year's was cool, but this year is like next level with the aesthetics and all the other things they have going on with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and as we mentioned before, there was that update in regards to first doing some tests at some regionals. for different channels and different camera angles. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to get that consistency. And we talked about this in Candidly Speaking last night, that really you almost need a top down or a full like bird's eye view to get a really good viewpoint of what's going on for things. But then you lose and you lose a lot of fidelity though when you do that as well. I mean, because you're losing a lot of depth perception the more you angle that way too. So yeah, that'll be interesting as it goes through. And I mentioned it, you know, that's a big concern for us for Game Day Live is how we're going to handle that from a commentator standpoint too. But last question here, I think, and then we'll move on. What are your thoughts on FRC Team 6220, the meme team?
Yeah.
Is that really what their name is, by the way?
Yeah, so they're out of California. So one of our new mentors was on Warlords, and when like somebody screenshotted their Blue Alliance page and put it in Slack, and we were all like, that can't be real, that's so great. And she was like, yeah, they've been at our regionals in California, they're pretty awesome. So maybe we'll get to meet them sometime.
Yeah, I'm sure Yaniv would be a huge fan.
We'll have to get Yaniv a shirt.
For the meme team.
Did last year. Oh, they won a regional last year, Orange County.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So as we start to wrap up here a little bit, a couple of things to go through still, but we are going to draw a winner for that Snapchat filter that Christine talked about. Remember, you do have to be a follower, and you do get one ticket for following, and you have to type in the special phrase. And if you're a member of Fun Nation and subscribe to us, you get 5 tickets. So Christine, do you mind just kind of reminding everybody what the filter's like, or kind of what that, if they win, what that entails?
Yeah, so one thing that we did on the Neutrons this year was Snapchat Sunday, where we made a new filter each week and featured it. I think one of them was like a tiny escape velocity from last year. We did like raining fuel and gears. We did like the Steamworks logo with our own team logo in it. So it can really just feature your team, a certain game element. You can make it, if you're like an event chair like I am, it could be, you know, your event. But we can work together and I'll make it happen. And they're pretty fun. So, and everybody's on Snapchat all the time, apparently. All of our college mentors, all of our high school students. So be a great way to advertise your team.
What's Snapchat? I should ask that.
I don't have it. I delete it.
Yeah, we're getting old. All right, so once again, you do have to follow or subscribe to us in order to be entered, and to get into this drawing, you do have to type in the following phrase, which is going to be neutrons. So easy enough. So type in neutrons, and that will get you an entry. We'll take those for a few minutes. So Nick, if you don't mind just typing in there, type in neutrons, enter. I would appreciate that as we keep moving on here. So thank you, audience, for all the Q&A. Really appreciate that as well. And Justin, why don't you give our guests a bit of a send-off here?
Yeah, we definitely want to thank you guys for coming on the show. We wish you the best of luck in South Florida. Is there anything that you want to plug, or Twitter, Snapchat for your team, or Instagram where we can find more about the Neutrons?
Yeah, so if you want to follow us on Snapchat, we're going to have a custom filter on Saturday at the South Florida Regional. Our Snapchat name is FRC125. We also have our Snap Spectacles that we're going to be bringing down and giving everybody like a live view of stuff. You can follow us on Facebook at Neutrons, on Twitter at Neutrons, and then Instagram is like FRC125 or something like that. So keep in touch with us. Our students update that stuff regularly. It's pretty fun. No pun intended, but check it out.
All right, very, very, very cool. And we do want to thank everybody who is helping make this show possible. If you want more First Rear Box in your life and like what we do, we would be absolutely delighted for you to click that little follow button up there, or even better, subscribe once again, help support our show, help make it happen. We do want to thank those who have made it happen today, and those who are following us, and those who are subscribing and now members of Fun Nation. So thank you very much to Deathly Benakai, Apache 8080, Bob 87, the AMC 2000. I always scroll here. Mr. Tap Tap, Parker 179, Bryn Bree, Meepo 07, Mick Last, Lego Man 97, Flom's PCs, Satisfaction, Scuba Dude, Kish, Leica Hawk Pro, for all following, and then Leica Hawk Pro for subscribing, as well as some of our other subscribers we had earlier. Thank you so much to Bailey, Heiko Jin. I'm going to just butcher some of these names here. Pauna time. I'm sorry. And
It's
thank you.
Pauline.
We cannot ever get her
Pauna
to
time.
Last time, I screwed that. Hold on, she can't win anymore. We need to take her out of the drawing.
Pauline's
Nick's
gonna kill
next.
us.
If Pauline wins, she can't win again. So it's a heads up. We can't rig this anymore, right? And then Meepo07 for subscribing. So for those, welcome to Fun Nation. We appreciate it. Get this. For subscribers, actually, if you were subscribed before today, we actually sent you an email asking for your input for subscriber benefits, as well as our new emotes. So our 2 emotes that we have in process right now are for red and blue lines. So you can cheer on which team you're interested in during Game Day Live. But during premiere night, we went over the next threshold. So we actually need 2 more. And we are only 9 subscribers away from getting 2 more at this point. So it is building up and up and up. So if we get 9 more subscribers, then we'll have even 2 more emotes. And we need your input for that. New subs, I'll see if I can shoot you. I don't know if I can shoot individual subs an email or not, but we'll try to get you that survey link, or you can just message me and we'll get you the link for that. So you can take 2 questions just to get your input. Thank you so much. We do also have t-shirts available at our web store. So go ahead and check out our First Updates Now t-shirts. We are working really hard to get some other stuff up by Game Day Live. So make sure you stick tuned to that. Also, a big thank you to our producer, Nick Olson, for working behind the scenes and doing a great job presenting this show. Thank you, Nick. All right, we should do that drawing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Roll for it. By the way, if it says Pauline, we're re-rolling. So. Oh my God!
Oh, yes, it was.
Unbelievable.
All right, the winner is. Whatever. All right, we rolled again. Make a flight on 14. Congratulations.
Yay.
I don't even see it.
What are the odds of that?
It's got to be high.
Make a flight on you. You have won the filter. Congratulations. I know I can individually take people off of this, but that's a pain in the butt to do that. So. So Mega Flight, go ahead and shoot me a PM or hit me up on Facebook, and we'll get you that information.
Right. Knew that was coming.
We need an email that is #rigged, like some sort of email like that.
Yeah.
Apparently, every single show that we do is completely rigged. That's just the way that it is. Yeah. Wow, guys. All right. So we do have a huge full buffet of shows coming up. Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, every single week of the month right now. So Saturday and Sunday, guys, Game Day Live is premiering. We hope that you'll tune into it. It will be on the front page of the Blue Alliance as well. On Game Day of Blue Alliance, you'll have an option to select that as well. We'll also be on twitch.tv/First Updates Now. It's going to be interesting. So our first crew on Saturday, we try to come out with guns swinging. So it's going to be Nick as the producer, and then myself as Karthik as your host for the show. There are going to be bugs and there are going to be errors, but we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So it's we really want your feedback, guys. Let us know how we did. Let us know what we can do to make that a better experience for all, especially to make it easy to understand for the Twitch audience too. Don't also forget, so next Monday we are going to have our subscriber night. Probably we're going to say right now about 7 p.m. Eastern till about 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll do a subscriber night. We're going to be playing a couple games online, inviting some of our subs to play with us, and you guys can make fun of how bad I am at playing video games because it's pretty embarrassing for the most part. We'll have to get Libby on too because I hear she's a Counter-Strike pro. So, well, she's had a lot of good experience that way. All right. But thank you guys so much for being on. We'll have a short post show after this, couple questions to cover for that. But on behalf of myself, Mike, Justin, and Nick, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And of course, thank you to Christine and Oliver from 125 The Neutrons. Good luck to you guys this season. We're really looking forward to seeing how you do week 1 and beyond. And thank you to all of our moderators in chat. We'll see you next time on First Updates Now. Talk to you then.
It's Now production. Visit us at firstupdatesnow.com or find us under First Updates Now on Facebook or Twitter.